Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, where we are on the eve before the famous Sebring 12 Hours. We've been broadcasting live from this very stage with Michelin Studio Live, actually 3 times today already, and we've had some amazing guests, and the tradition continues. Adam, LZ, glad to have you here, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Perfect, perfect. Now, Adam and I were here actually not long ago. We were here for a Michelin-sponsored project car challenge, which, well, how did you do? You did pretty well in the end.
Yeah, so I wound up winning with my E92. It's a big turbo N54, and I really didn't think I was going to, but the grand prize was being able to get my car shipped to the Nürburgring and be able to go there and drive my car in it. So, like, yeah. I mean, that's
what
crazy.
What can be bigger than that?
Yeah.
I mean, and also think about it. You're here. I think you got a scale for this. When we were here driving the other day, I drove his car, by the way, and it was my favorite of the, I'm not just saying that. It was the favorite because it was actually the one that held together and last. So I was all about it. But you come from the world of BMX. You come from the world of drifting. That's what you do. Your car, I noticed, was pretty sideways all the way around here. It's probably why you need a good Michelin deal. But Sebring to Nürburgring, that's going to be a big, big step.
Yeah, and especially considering I have, like, no racing experience. I just have fun out there.
Yeah, but you're quick, you know. I mean, I think that's what is really happening this weekend. Adam is one of the influencers that have come as a guest of Michelin to the Sebring 12 Hours. Basically, it's like the ultimate backstage pass. It's the paddock pass, the pit pass that really most people don't get the chance to have. But when you come to a race like this, what do you think? Do you think, you know, if I hadn't gone into BMX, maybe I could have been a racing driver?
I think it's really cool, and it's definitely something that I could see myself getting into, but just walking around the pits, it seems so complex with the teams and all this fancy gadgets I've never seen before. Like, it's not something you just jump into. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely don't jump into, but because you're young, which is really nice for you. When you have a good car control, that you obviously do, you have good balance, you have a good appreciation and mechanical sympathy, that's sort of halfway there. And there's a lot of guys back there that, obviously, when you look at the Sebring 12 Hours, they are the top of their game. And the GTLM drivers really are the top of the international superstars, really, when it comes to racing. But everyone started somewhere. And not many people in your position have ever been to Sebring, let alone to the Nürburgring.
Yeah, no, that was super awesome, just getting to drive my car on the track. I want to come back really badly. I just don't know how.
Well, there's a way. Just have the Sebring 12 Hours as your goal. So let's just talk about what you do with your enthusiast base, because what Adam has done is really tap into sort of the popular culture, rather like we had earlier with our other guests, is you've really tapped into the fact that people love real people getting involved with a passion for exceptional drives, as we have written on the wall behind us. But people really do love the fact that you guys love your cars, and it's like unfiltered content.
For sure. I think one of the things that's helped me a lot too, as I kind of got into drifting in that world, is I documented everything from when I started and couldn't even do a donut to, like, being able to actually properly tandem and drive with other cars. And it's really fun, and it's really relatable to people that might not have track time to understand, like, hey, like, this is something I could get into, and it's very achievable.
So you're here with an awful lot of other influencers, just especially for the crowd that are here behind there. There is some of the world's biggest YouTubers and social media stars are on site with Michelin this weekend, and they come from all walks of life, and a lot of people are pretty much new rookies to an international race. What is your feedback on seeing the fans, seeing everything?
Like I said, it was definitely overwhelming at first, just seeing how crazy and professional all the race teams are, watching them disassemble the cars, and like I said, walking around the pits and seeing all these lights and TV screens and the way that they put the gas in the cars. Yeah. Like, that's like crazy to me. I show up to the pits with a jack and some tires, and that's it.
Well, yeah, especially tomorrow, and for everyone watching this around the world, what happens in the pit lane here is really perhaps the most choreographed, technology-driven, experience-driven exercise really in sports anywhere, because these teams have done it a long time, but there are multiple variables around being involved in a race like that, like this. And everybody really is pushing to the limits, and the drivers can only do the best they can. And when they come, and when it comes into the pits, they have only a short window to get it absolutely right. So you'll love watching those guys do what they do.
For sure. I thought it was really cool, too, getting to learn a little bit more about Michelin on the back end, and how they analyze the tires and can tell the drivers to change their alignment and tire pressure just based off computer software. I don't know how they analyze them, but
well, they're pretty smart. We're actually going to bring up Bill Auberlen is here, everybody. Bill Auberlen, who is the winningest driver for BMW as a factory. So it's, oh, okay, we have two of them, two for the price of one. Let's bring them up. Bill Auberlen, that's right. Give him a big round of applause. Billy, nice, nice, nice. Meet Adam. Adam,
nice to meet you.
Hey, mate, cool. Nice to see you. Great stuff. Two of the BMW factory drivers who, as you can tell, they've been working hard because qualifying was only, well, an hour or so ago finished, or 3 hours ago. You're still in the suits because you've been, what, debriefing?
No, we're getting ready to do a really fun event now. That's what we're getting ready for.
Oh, okay. Tell us.
Tell us. We got a couple of, am I allowed to tell
Yes.
us? So we got a couple of Z4 race cars here that were just taken off the racetrack a few years ago. And as the sun starts to set, we're going to take people for hot laps in full-blown race cars.
And that is one of them.
I get to go?
Oh,
yeah,
you get to go?
Ah.
Sick.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds fun.
Believe me, being driven by Bill Auberlen around the Sebring 12-hour track is probably something that's going to be pretty memorable for them. Adam was here. You missed the beginning of the show, but Adam was here with us about a month ago, and he had a project car challenge, and he and his BMW won the challenge, so they're taking the car to the Nürburgring.
Oh,
Any
no
advice?
Memorize in segments. That's how you got to learn that track. Have you been there before?
No.
It's so long that you don't learn it like a normal track here. This would be 17 turns. You'd learn it after 5 laps. You'd get a hang of it. In Nürburgring, you do laps and you learn first sector, first 15 turns, next 15. Then you learn it piece by piece, and then you put it all together. It's a lot to learn.
So I'll probably play in the simulator a bit then, yeah?
A lot of simulator. That's how that's the new world now. Is this is right here. I mean, everything is simulator, and then on the track, and you'll have a real good idea what you're doing.
How's that stuff for you when, I mean, obviously, look, it's actually right. Look, you have us two old boys over here, and you have them two young ones over there. Simulators were not around when we started racing. We never got to learn a track until we got the few laps on it, and you got pretty good at learning tracks. But for you, mate, did you spend much time before you came here learning Sebring with BMW?
Yeah, you know, it's massive nowadays, the technology that goes into the simulators and how many different types there are. And yeah, I would say it's great for learning the track, you know, learning your break points, and they're so accurate that you can even do changes on the race car that correlate into real life. So
wow.
It's massive, not only for the drivers, but for also the teams.
So one thing that I think Adam experienced when he came here, he comes from the world of drifting, but he was also one of the America's top BMX riders. So he came from that world, pretty a risk taker. His BMW was pretty loose when I drove it around here, which you'd have loved. But the bumps, that was the first time you've probably driven on a track that's this bumpy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, my car handled like really well on it. Like people were getting me super scared that my car was gonna get beat up by these bumps and it was gonna get trashed. And like I did some like custom BC suspension on the car and like tried to figure out some good spring rates for it, and it handled way better than I thought it was going to.
But that's the thing here, Bill, right? Getting the car set up. Bill for everybody is really credited with, I'm not going to say pioneering, but certainly supporting and being a major influence with a lot of the suspension and traction control work that happens on the last 10 years of BMWs. The bumps at Sebring are ruthlessly tough on man and machine.
So when we test, imagine we go everywhere around the world with this car, and we'll do Daytona 24 hours, Le Mans. You do the most amazing tracks, but all the testing is done here to see what we could tear apart on the car. You will drive here for at least 12, 15-hour simulations, and we will go and go until parts fall off. Then you re-engineer if something happened, but this is the toughest track we go to by far.
So that's what this place is. It's like the ultimate test track. And IndyCar come here and test as well. Everybody uses this racetrack. But qualifying, give us a recap.
So it was Connor DeFilippe and Jesse Krohn qualified our two cars, and they qualified first and third, which is an amazing accomplishment. So fast. From Daytona, we were struggling a little bit, and we lacked a little bit of speed. We did a lot of research development, got a little help from the series on the BOP, a little bit of power, a little bit of weight savings, and now we're at the top of the sheet. That's phase one. So now we've completed that. Now 12 hours of ruthless, tough driving, and hopefully we can stand on that podium. I mean, I've won this thing 3 times. It's been a little while since I've won it.
You rode it.
It is time. It is time to win again now.
And of course, BMW, we've talked about it throughout the day. BMW and the engineers and yourself, you have one of the best working relationships in the sport, and obviously it's with Michelin, who we see on your arms here. You do a lot of driving in road cars as well. The way these GTLM cars are elevated to these levels of performance really does come in that partnership with Michelin.
It does. What people don't realize is I don't care how much aerodynamic work you do, how much suspension work, what engine work you do. The reality is it all gets transmitted through that little black piece of rubber that meets the road, and that is no joke. For years, I raced on other manufacturers of tires, and you always stared across the fence at Michelin because, period, they are the best. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Until you're on it, you never really know how much you were missing. And now that we have it, I hope we never let it go.
Never let it go. So I'm going to do a quick rip round about what you're hoping to experience from the 12 hours tomorrow.
I'm just hoping to have a lot of fun and see things that I've never seen before.
Yeah, head into the infield and you'll see things you've never seen before.
Yeah. I heard at night.
Yeah. What about you, Colton?
I mean, obviously, there's a lot to go into the race car, and we want to be competitive and we want to make it all the way. But you know, I want to taste some champagne tomorrow. I want to be on the podium.
Yeah, that's a pretty good and realistic objective. What about you, Bill?
It's got to be victory. There's a lot of signs that are pointing to victory here. I'll tell you why. Car 25. Yep. It's my 25th time I've raced this race. I'm 2 times 25 years old. That's a bad one.
We're in that club together.
And we talk about young guys here. He's telling me, yeah, I mean, I know where I'm at age-wise, right? So I'm sort of at the top end. And he tells me, I'm in a hotel, and I'm not old enough to actually have my own hotel room and check in myself. And I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah. We are in 2 totally different worlds, right? But the objective, there's only one, and that is to win.
And that is exactly what everybody here, being brought here by Michelin, has actually put together as the objective. It's connecting the dots between those amazing road tires down there, the amazing race tires that you two are lucky enough to be out there on. And
one more point. I just found this out.
Go on.
My teammate here quite a few years ago was his dad in the Panos. And now I'm racing with his son. That's great.
You might need a drink after the race tomorrow on that one. Well, good luck to you all. You're definitely going to have a unique experience, and I'll be following you over to the Nürburgring. Remember, follow along on Michelin USA's social media throughout. You've got some incredible drivers to follow. Every car in GTLM has the potential to win this, and tomorrow we're going to bring you 4 more shows, incredible guests. But, of course, you can watch the whole thing on TV during the afternoon. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys, for coming. And try and get some rest tonight. It's a very physical day tomorrow.